Hello and welcome to the Boneyard Bonfire. A lot of shit happening out here. This sound. It's like, I think I've said before, but it's like the ultimate car would be a 1957. It was technically a Plymouth Fury at the time, or a Ford Fury if you want to call it that. You'd see it's better known as Stephen King's Christine. But I'm talking a Hellcat engine with hydraulics, underglow, subwoofers, and a berry blue with red and black flame. Well, actually, it would be black cherry and black pearl. Where it's that, well, no, you know what? Blood red. Where it's berry blue, onyx black, blood red, and then a little bit of pearl white on marble white. No, pearl white. Like just for some accents. Like it would be half, but it's like so.
The reason the Samedi weren't able to get a complete lock on the university is because the Southern housing is being run by the Brotherhood. Prostitution, gambling, drugs. If it's a vice college kids want, the Brotherhood are pushing it here. If the Saints want to take control of this neighborhood, you're gonna have to evict those assholes.
Okay, I don't want to be that rude, but it's like a lot of fat chicks considering.
My friends and I wanted to go.
Huh? What's your problem? Let that bitch out of luck. That's
But the best way I've described the car is that it is a girl that wears a turtleneck, glasses, and a poodle skirt that's shin length. But she's also she's the head, or she's the fastest runner of the track team and the head cheerleader.
Dead man. Jesus.
Don't let anyone get off your pieces.
This ain't happening. Oh, sweat stains are not in fashion.
I'm getting my ass to the beach today.
I think they improved on.
Never really alone.
Yeah, I think they improved on Saints Row by having number 3 at least tell you it's like, oh, your mission is like this far away.
Oh God! Ow! Shit! You gonna roll on the ride?
These two motherfuckers, just like, we're on a hot streak. We don't give two shits.
You're fucked now, bitch. Thought you were supposed to be the big bad leader. of
Oh,
the
come
Saints.
on. Blah, 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 blah.
Looks like
You
somebody.
trying to start stuff?
It's like you have to kill everyone in the vicinity or you cannot move.
You ain't getting away, motherfucker's gonna quit wasting my time. Take them.
And you gotta give time to heal.
Fuck up my new tattoo.
First I cracked a nail and now this? Daddy! Come back here!
I've been waiting for this. Why does this always happen?
I got plastic able to work me down.
You're gonna regret crazy. Get up, man. Oof.
I'm still in my prime. I can't die yet.
You know, I kind of feel bad for, like, for Velma Dinkley. She was underappreciated in her time.
This is madness!
To be fair, it was the time of free love and all that, where it's like no emotion or anything. It's just pure, like, purely physical. It was kind of like the thing that killed free love was the sexual revolution, but it kind of had to happen. Like, I believe I've said before, to where it's like, before 1986. Oh, wrong middle. Women's bras, well, brassieres. It's a funny word because it's just so technical.
See what happens when you piss off the Brotherhood? Oh! I ain't letting you leave alive. You can't run away.
But yeah, like bras were originally a cone-ish shape.
Young man, I think you're gonna do well with yourself.
Thank you, ma'am.
Who let you Police!
When machines rule the earth, that car will be their king.
Why are we meeting on the L?
You wanted to get out of the goddamn sewer?
Why are you looking away?
In case you're, being followed.
This isn't a goddamn spy movie, Carlos. Could you turn around? What you got for me?
Nothing?
Are you shitting me?
Listen, I tried everything I could. What was I supposed to do?
Try harder.
After that shit you pulled with Donnie, the Brotherhood are keeping a tight lid on what they got cooking. I've heard one guy mention a shipment, but beyond that, it looks like we're back to square one.
Which is?
We know they like trucks and tattoos.
You were on my shortlist and you're giving me tattoos and trucks.
And the shipment.
Which you know nothing about. Carlos, I like you, I do. But you got a lot to learn about being a lieutenant.
I wish I had more to give you.
Believe me, so do I. But fuck it, we'll figure out something.
What is it?
I think I've got an idea. Mero said he's got a lot of canvas left. I'm gonna splatter paint all over it. Carlos, don't worry. I'm gonna make a banger out of you if it kills me.
My wife doesn't start this. I swear.
I hate being on foot. Wait, don't I?
Yes! Yes!
Oh.
So what's the plan?
Oh, whoop.
That fucking ass! That's what you get!
Tobias has this energy that is just fun. But then again, it seems like the kind of men that go for Mills.
Kill!
The kind of guys that go for Nelson Cougars have this type of energy. They just radiate this, come on, bro, yeah. Less, I'm gonna fight everyone in this whole place, and more of,
If you're not careful with that, someone could get hurt.
well, that was something.
You got your seatbelt on? Safety first.
You're about to experience a fire.
Carlos, I'm planning on bringing a little souvenir back from the nuke plant. Be ready to pick me up when I give the call.
No problem, boss. I'll get to a helicopter.
Now, the reason that the nuclear plant is this far out is because, for the most part, they have a lot of, they use all the seawater to assist in like they use all the seawater to assist in cooling. That was not on me in any way, shape, or form.
Last one to fire buys dinner.
Ah, here it is. Alright, alright.
I've got the stuff we need, Carlos.
I'm on my way.
You're going down. Let's get some more.
If I remember correctly, this is the most annoying part because of the actual... Like, I gotta find where the actual ladders up are. Well, stairs. But, yeah, there's where I'm aiming, so it's upset. But, when it comes to nuclear power and all that, they have nuclear waste, where it's a case of the, material, like whatever they're using for, to do the heating and all that, it gets to a point where it can't be used anymore, so it's just goop, pretty much. But it's still highly radioactive and toxic and everything.
No one dies.
We're almost to the nuke plant.
So they have to get rid of it somehow, and for... And a lot of times they'll, like, burn it with intense heat and all that. Which, the movie Sahara, like, the whole point of it was that they were supposed to be using the desert to, like, destroy it using solar power and all that. But they weren't. They were just burying it underground, and it was leaking into the underground water table, which, of course, in the desert and all that, all the water you would be getting would be from underground. So that means people were getting radiation poisoning. And it's like, they're poor, so it's like, they can't fight it with lawyers or anything. But, like, the whole thing is that it's still radioactive, so not only will it give you, like, it'll give you cancer, and I do believe that. I don't know if I might have said in my, lost playthrough, that cancer is cells that have divided, but because of damaged genes, they are incomplete. So they're both dead and alive at the same time. And so because they're still healthy cells, well, technically healthy cells, they use,
Who the hell's this guy?
You think I know how to fly a helicopter? I had to pull a gun on the pilot to get him to fly here.
oh, I got Toby with us. But, yeah, it's like the cancer cells are technically healthy cells as per, like, what the body's technicality. But, what occurs is that they still want to divide and everything. That's why they grow. But because they're I'd call them zombie cells, where it's like, yes, they're alive, but they're technically dead. Like, they don't do any use except try and grow. But because they're technically not living, they kill.
We're going down, hang on!
This is some bullshit. The game did not expect me to have this good of gun skills.
I think I could have went better, don't you agree, Carlos?
Hey, we walked away from the crash. That's good enough for me. So what do we do now?
We jack a car and get the hell out of here.
Ah, see? Here's the nice police officers, kind enough to give us a car.
Where's my boyfriend?
Wasn't gonna play out
But yeah, it's like the cancer cells steal nutrients because they're still technically alive, so they try and divide. But they're already fucked up, so as they divide, they're still fucked up. And what occurs is radiation isn't... There are multiple kinds of radiation. The most dangerous is ionizing radiation, which causes, it's where, think of it as if somebody was shooting sand, like itty bitty pieces of sand through a bed sheet. Like, in the whole size of the bed sheet, a couple particles of sand isn't gonna mean much. But, to cells, well, to the chromosomes that make up your cells, those itty bitty sand particles are the ionized radiation particles, and they destroy your genes because essentially it's pieces of atoms that are being launched at your basic the basic amino acids that make up your DNA. So it causes a few to, so it destroys, like, those itty-bitty bonds between the atoms that make up the amino acids, which cause the, genes to fall apart. And then the RNA don't give a shit. Its job is to copy
you were gonna look like
and
a bad
replicate,
motherfucker.
like copy.
That's good, because I was beginning to think I looked like an investment banker.
I'm glad you two are having fun, because God forbid we do something about the Saints.
I'm gonna take care of them, babe.
Sure
The
you
demon,
You think I'm afraid?
No, she doesn't, Marrow. Now can you stay cool? I'm almost done.
that demon chick is just damn.
I think you should stick to tattooing and drop the guitar.
Whatever. The feed dogs fucking rock.
Baby?
Not mission, but stronghold. Yeah. That's why it's like those that fully understand the most overpowered of things. It's like, think of Full Metal Alchemist as being the natural evolution to Avatar: The Last Airbender, to where they control a specific aspect, like not like element, just an aspect, not exactly a specific molecule or a specific element, as in on the periodic table a specific atom. Whereas with Fullmetal Alchemist they do transmutation, to where it's rearranging of the atoms to where the natural progression would then be subatomic transmutation, where you're able to control the quarks. And then, like, the most overpowered would be energy manipulation. Like, what would be considered magic would be a form of that energy manipulation, because ultimately, when you break everything down, energy exists as a wave when not observed and a particle when observed. So if you were to observe energy and it would condense and become a particle, it would then build atoms. So theoretically, if you could control energy on its very base, you could in fact create atoms, and from those atoms you could create, essentially, you grab hold of a battery and make a chunk of gold in your hand, at the most basic of understanding.
But they got at least one thing right. Getting paid to do nothing is love. If we want to be major players, we got to get some protection rackets going. And we might as well start with the neighborhood that loves to pay out, Chinatown.
But, so essentially, if you could produce energy and control it, like there was, in Resident Evil 8, you had, Heisenberg, who, like, his ability so like I messed around with the controls trying to sorry. It's like I know this gets annoying after the first 2 or 3 times, but it's one of those ones where it's like attack secondary. So why find aim is where I'm getting fucked over. I think there we go.
Find a good man.
You remember this. Remember
Running wasn't part of this plan.
I'll show you what
Yep.
One of these days I'll move out of
I'd like it known that that was all because she couldn't just be shaken down. But yeah, there was an anime, Get Backers or Heisenberg, where they're where you had it where their muscles acted like electric eels.
You wouldn't be doing this if I was making sense.
Someone save me!
So it's like if you could create energy from your muscles, and then control said energy. You could then technically create stuff out of thin air, which by all means, like from an evolutionary perspective, like eyes that could perceive energy
I've been waiting to try out.
But yeah, it's like eyes that perceive energy, muscles that produce energy,
I'll give you my antidepressants.
and the ability to control energy with your mind. Like, all of this could have been evolved and everything, but if you had, like, if you had to where the women passed on, then during the age of burning witches, like, the next series of evolution could have been all that to help benefit help benefit the people. Because it's like, if you could produce energy and control and, like, create resources out of thin air, pretty much, then by all means, like, everyone would be fed and able to survive.
What's wrong? We're just getting started.
The only problem was,
the guy running the Brotherhood protection rackets owns the Pagoda Hotel. Shake him down and everyone else will fold.
the only problem was that to properly use to properly use the abilities, you would need to know about atoms and molecules. You'd need to know a bunch of science that didn't really come about until like 200 years after all the women that were called witches and were burned. So it's like within that 200 years, that's 10 generations of I hit Y but not fast enough. But
the guy running the Brotherhood protection rackets owns the Pagoda Hotel. Shake him down and everyone else will fold.
But yeah, it's
now
like
we're pissed. You happy?
Kill them all.
it's like the it's the movie Mimic, or the anime, manga, whichever you want to consider Terraformars, where it's like evolution, think of it less as time and more of generations, to where 200 years could easily be 10 to 15-ish generations. So if you're thinking like that, it's like all it takes is 3 generations to essentially turn a blue eyes to brown type deal.
I'm not sticking around here. I'm not moving an inch. The ones who run away always get taken down first.
Like, that's why Hitler was so concerned about, you know, Aryans marrying Aryans and all that. Because all it takes is, like, one brown-eyed, like, marriage, and then, like, there's only a 10% chance. Those dumbass... They killed the owner. I didn't even have to touch him. Those dumbasses. But yeah, it's like it only takes like 2 generations, and boom, like, Matt Pat did a whole like, Luigi and Daisy are the parents of Rosalia, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed princess from the future. That's in Galaxy, I believe. That was her first appearance or whatever. But it's like a 10% chance, even with and maybe 20 with 2 different parents, or it might have been 100. I don't know. It's a whole dominant recessive gene.
I'm telling the coach.
I refuse to obey any traffic rules while Freebird is playing. But yeah, it's a whole thing of if both parents... Yeah. It has to be like both parents have to have blue eyes. Like, one has to have a blonde recessive gene and the other a dominant, at least.
Carlos, where the fuck are you?
I think your people skills need some work, sweetie.
Jessica, how'd you like Mero's new tattoo?
Actually, I think it's pretty sexy. Rugged, tough.
Radioactive.
That's cute.
I try. Now what the fuck do you want?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that since you were nice enough to give my man a makeover, I should return the favor. Don't worry, by the time we're through with him, Carlos will look just as handsome as Mero.
Listen up, you fucking
Of course,
bitch.
I don't have access to the same materials you did, but you know, I figure we can make do.
When I find you...
I mean, I'm sure you'll do something scary. Do me a favor, when you're scraping up your buddy's face, just remember, Mero gave you a chance to be his partner.
Now, the whole thing with Generations is that, within the couple generations of, you know, it's like, oh, she's a witch or some shit, that means that any women not ousted, like Evolution, like, those that have had the, not privilege, but, like, have heard of it. There's something called a placebo effect, where it's like you're told something is, like you're told something is, and you believe something is so much that something it becomes.
Mero's bitch. Of course you know. I'm getting tired of playing with you.
Oh, come on. I swear.
It's too late to back out now.
That's it, I'm killing a couple people till a cop car shows up. Oh. Never mind. Plus, I forgot. It takes a bit to get cops to show up. I'd have to kill an actual cop. But in any case, it's like the women that, like, you believe something so hard that your body follows suit. So it's like you believe this this Tic Tac is a actual pill or some shit like that, and you suddenly have it work like the pill. Like, there's a whole thing with Phantom Pain to where it's like, you remember having a limb there, and your brain is still like, oh, the limb is still there. So your brain is processing the pain that you should be in if the limb was still there. Oh, come on.
Oh, God, you again?
Then you're gonna die in this shop.
Go to hell!
I'm getting tired of playing with you, Johnny.
I heard him say they were gonna take him on a ride around the docks.
It's gonna be easy. My God.
But yeah, it's like the brain thinks, so the body follows. So what occurs is that in, like, some evolution is sparked by thought, less by environment or, like, physical need, per se. Like, so what occurred was these women that aren't, well, they were technically witches out of it was just a whole thing of they might have carried this, like, genes and body types and such. Like, they carried what was necessary to maybe, if not them, their offspring become, like, have the abilities and everything. But what occurred is they're thinking, oh shit, any and all witches are burnt. If I want to live, I better, you know, not mess up and yada yada yada. So it was a whole thing of they were thinking, oh, not these abilities would get me killed, they'd get my kid killed, or yada yada. So the thought turned into the evolution. So we might have evolved to habit, the adaptation and all that, but because of a group mentality, a psychosomatic we lost what we could have had. Like, I believe I said before in the, my Honey Pop episodes, to where we might have had already gone to space and everything had we not had the Dark Ages. Oh, sidewalk.
I seen homeless people dressed
I bet if insurance don't cover this.
You ain't getting a second shot.
We'll let God know we killed
Someone's
you.
gonna get hurt when you driving like that.
You're making yourself a target for all kinds of...
But yeah, it's like you had the women and the men thinking it, but it was a whole thing of, if we didn't have the Dark Ages, we lost we lost a good 400 years of scientific innovation.
Shit! What are you doing? I didn't hear about any demolition scheduled around here.
Sends his thanks.
This is just like when I was
This is my problem.
It's like between science and evolution, we got fucked over. Like there's that one, well, I'm not advocating for it, like that was the most humane way, because, like, between internal hemorrhaging, brain hemorrhaging, actual blood loss from his abrasions, like with everything that occurred, he was not gonna make it to a hospital or survive. Like, he wouldn't even survive the transport to said hospital. I think I'll do this stronghold and then call it an episode. But yeah. What the hell are you doing? See a guy in the street, you stop.
Watch it, bitch!
But yeah, it's like there's that Calvin Hobbes comic where it's like, oh, it's like, why are photos black and white and all the others are in color? It's like, oh no, things were black and white back then. And they were taken, like photos were taken. And then it's like, when things turn to color, the photos turn to color. And it's like, what about the black and white photos then? Oh, you see, the color ones were taken with colored film, but because everything was black and white, they showed up as black and white.
I had one of my boys watch Donnie's mechanic shop after he shook him down. Mero went to check on Donnie, but when he left, he went straight to the docks to set up some business deal. I don't know what's going on, but a convoy of Brotherhood are going to the docks now. If you can hijack one of their trucks, you could probably join the convoy, get to the meeting place, and take out all the motherfuckers that show up.
Idiot. Motherfucker.
This is gonna be too easy. I can't afford to get this. Holy Ghost is out of my league. Watch it, you maniac!
Oh, that's some bullshit. I need to fill up. I need to get a good one anyhow. Like, what the hell was that explosion?
Ready or not, here we come! I'm out! Oh, shoot me!
There it goes. I lost my train of thought.
If that's how you drive.
Oh yeah, it's like theoretically, like you see photos and their depictions and all that, but that's the thing. For all we know, shit did exist, but it has come out that even the Vatican and other not subsidiaries, just branches of, essentially in their quest to perpetrate, like to keep the belief of God and the authenticity of the Bible without question. They destroyed a lot of evidence, like it isn't that fossils weren't discovered before 1800 something or other. It's just that they were destroyed, or like they weren't recovered. It wasn't recorded that they exist until 1800 something. I think 1860 or something. Like, somewhere at some time, or like, oh, I should have done the mission first. Because that one guy just said something that's got some of you questioning, like, what does he mean this is for Jessica? For what reason would he yell that? But, like, dragons could have in fact been real. It's just, like, bones aren't that difficult to destroy. Like, it's a controlled, like, lye is a controlled substance nowadays, but back then, it's like, it was used by alchemists and scholars. So all you need is so all you had to be was like a pope, and it's like, you ask your scholar friend, hey, just, throw him this random question, like, if you don't know, don't feel bad about it, but, what would I need to potentially make bones disappear? Like, I know breaking them, grinding them up and everything, by all means, that's simplistic, and we've done it for years.
Hurry and stop these maniacs. I don't want to get shot again.
But, so it's like, lye can be, like, because of, I believe lye is, on the pH scale, it's, like it's a 14, and then they have, like, some, like, it's 14 times. I can never figure that out. Because there's, I know for positive, an acid is 1, and then it can be times 10 to the negative power of whatever the fuck. And that's how, I believe the upper limit is, negative 14, and I believe its piranha solution is like the highest. Like, I know it's the most reactive when it comes to dissolving, but lye is so, like, the most basic and everything. So it's like just the teeniest bit of water on your skin is enough to make it become highly, I don't know if corrosive is the word that is the correct word to use. Like, I know when it comes to an acidic solution, by all means, but when it comes to a basic solution, I'm not sure, because but in any case, it's like, it'll dissolve bone within an hour or two, and it's like, back then, it's like, what is this white powder? It is burning my skin. But yeah, it's, like, that's what lye was. It would just eat through bone.
Sorry.
No problem, I got it.
Jesus Christ, are you trying to get killed?
Look, I'm sorry.
I don't have time for this. Sorry about that, baby. I almost landed my car on a hippie chick.
Hey, I'm not a hippie.
Mero, I'm fine. Look, I gotta go. I'm about to make the deposit. Sweetie, let me worry about the money. We'll have enough to cover the shipment, and once that comes in, the Saints won't have a chance in hell.
Yo, Shandi, we're gonna hack or what?
Hey, boss.
Shandi, I'm watching Bobby and Ann back in it, wait.
Not really.
What's up?
Mero's girlfriend just walked into the bank with a suitcase full of money.
I'll be right over.
Wise choice to going easy.
You know what? I'm showing up in style. Motherfucker. No, you gotta use this specific car that we're giving you. It's absolute bullshit. But yeah, it's like bones would dissolve and like pretty much we've had over it's a whole thing of within 3 or 4 generations you can be fully forgotten as long as there's nobody. Like, it's the whole story of Coco, where if it was not, like, if the great grandmother did not know of, like, if she had not remembered her father's face or had not kept the photo, like, no one would have known of.
What?
Don't be embarrassed.
Whoop. She didn't escape. I just forgot, you have to hold it.
Oh, God! Oh, let go!
Don't do anything we'll both regret.
Looks like I'm seeing this hostage.
There's no way out of here. Just give up.
Let's do this the easy way, okay?
Get those hands up. We got a hostage situation.
All right, Jessica. You're gonna turn off that alarm.
Yeah? How am I gonna do that?
Jesus, I'm sure the police will be here to stop this any second now. I'm too sober for this. Phaetons!
But yeah, it's like 400 years. That's at least like 20 generations.
Anyone else comes to me, they can expect the same thing.
So it's like in that 20 generations, all it takes is enough people saying like, oh, dragons don't exist. There are no records of dragons ever having existed. Like, all it takes is enough people saying something don't exist for it to not exist. Got him.
You stop right there, asshole!
That's cute. Not walking here or anything.
Your final warning. Give up now.
Yep, sorry. But yeah, it's like we still don't have we have a vague record of pirates, but we have been conditioned by like all the everything in the last 50 years that it's like no, and because piracy hasn't been around for the past 200 or so years, nobody remembers what pirates are really like.
We have a visual.
Like, we all think this yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. But that might not even be the true truth.
Please let me out of here!
Right here, right now.
No, you're not.
What's this?
Do me a favor. When you check the trunk, just remember you should have offered me something better than 20%.
I'll do that one in the next episode. But like finishing my thought, it's like pirates, like we think they're all stupid and everything, but you gotta remember, it's like because education wasn't like legally required for most, like America didn't really get the whole legally required to get an education until somewhere in the 1870s or so, like somewhere after after the Civil War, because most children, especially in London and everything, were part of the Industrial Revolution. Like, they worked in factories. Pretty much if you were 5 or 6 with little hands, you did a lot of work, because machines like looms and such, doing textiles and such, were little moving parts. So they need little hands to fix all that. And you'd lose a finger or two or a toe or two, something. But ultimately you're getting paid to work like 16-hour shifts. Like, there is one photo of like a 5-6-year-old coal miner. But it was a whole thing of education was not, pretty much you didn't have to read and write per se, because if you worked on a farm, in a coal mine, or pretty much if you worked with your hands more than your brain or mouth, you didn't need to read or write, you just mainly need to be able to sign your name. Like, that was the whole point. Like, educated people would read or write. Pretty much your brain worked enough to where it's like, if you put a person of 21st century America, born after the year 2000, educated in America, and sent back in time to like the 1700s, they could not survive for more than 2 weeks. Versus if you sent somebody from 1700 to 2000, there would be a bit of a culture shock and all that. There'd be a bit of time for them to learn technology, but ultimately, as long as, like, they would just have to learn the language and everything. like, to read and write, but it's like, nowadays we have all these programs and shit for that specific reason. Like, illiteracy is only a problem if you have a specific, learning disability, like, dyslexia or some such. But ultimately, for the most part, we as a society have believed that education above all else. Like nowadays, you can be forcibly fostered, and your parents may pay $100,000 if you are truant from school for too many days. Like, it used to be that truancy, sure, it was a big deal only because, skipping school, you shouldn't be doing that, you better be getting that education and all that. But now there are legal repercussions for it. Oh, and I never did, like, I did say Velma Dinkley got shafted and everything, but that's, yeah. Like, nowadays, he's one of the hot ones. Still waiting for that show. Gotta double check on that. I think it was supposed to come out September or October here. But in any case, it's like, somebody from the 1700s could easily come to the future and, well, present for us, future for them, yada yada. But, and easily survive far better than one of us in the present can go to the past. But in any case, I'll save this for the next episode. So, see you in the next one. Have a good one, and goodbye.